We go. We're at the home of Antonio Cangelosi.
Cangelosi. Did I write it right? Yeah, I wanted to look right because I don't know that I go to see.
You wrote it correctly.
Okay.
I just mispronounced it. I apologize.
No, okay.
And today's date is September the 14th, 2011. And I just stated the name of the person that we were interviewing, Antonio Cangelosi.
Right.
Right. Okay. And when is your birthday, sir?
January 23rd.
And your current address?
5253 Crystal Land Drive. My birthday, January 23rd, 1922.
Good. And we got the address, right?
Yes.
The address, right? Okay.
Yeah, 5253 Crystal Land Drive.
And the only other person besides myself attending the interview is your wife, and your wife's name is?
Carmela Candel.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, no, would be Cangelosi, right? Yeah, you have to make it right.
That's fine. And my name is Carlton Cartwright. I'm the CEO and founder of the Children's Coalition Incorporated. And I'm doing the interview. I'm running the camera, and I'm asking the questions. Mr. Cangelosi, what war are you a veteran of?
I'm a World War II veteran.
And what branch of the service?
A 28 Infantry Division, Battalion 109.
Okay. Good. And the branch of service was?
Infantry.
Infantry. Army?
Army Infantry,
Okay.
yes.
And what was your rank?
I was PFC.
Where did you serve?
I served in all through, in Europe. World War II.
Okay, in Germany?
In Germany and Belgium. I fought in Belgium. I fought in France. I fought part of Germany there. Where was I? Forget now. I'm forgetting a lot now. My age is no help to me at all.
Well, that's fine. That's not a problem. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I enlisted purposely. I enlisted, but they wouldn't let me join unless give me an allotment unless I was drafted. So I had to show that I was drafted to get an allotment. But I really enlisted.
Okay. At the time of your enlistment, where were you living?
I was living at 114-12 145th Street, Jamaica, Long Island, New York.
Okay. Why did you join?
Because when I was deferred, the local board took my younger brother within a week. And I felt so terrible about the whole idea that they took my younger brother that was deferred. And I went with Ace Donovan in World War I. He was with me when I got the deferment. When they took my younger brother, I went there and I blasted that guy at the local
draft board.
Yeah, draft board. Mm-hmm. And I told him, the moment I was deferred, you took my younger brother. Now I want to go, but you got to give me an allotment. That was the whole story.
Okay.
Boy, getting mixed up.
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
Well, I picked the Army. I didn't want the Navy because I don't know how to swim. I'm afraid of water, so that's why I picked the Army.
Okay. You recall your first days in service?
Do I recall my first day in service?
Yeah, what was it like? What was boot camp like?
The boot camp was horrid because I went through that already because I went into the CC camp before years ago, and then I went in. It was almost very much alike, so nothing was new to me. It was all secondhand.
Do you remember your instructors?
Yeah, vaguely now.
How did you get through it?
Oh, I'm fine. I was able to do it, I just didn't like anybody taking advantage of me at any time.
Right.
And that's the way I felt with the Germans, because that's why I knocked the hell out of one real bad once I was liberated.
You served in World War II. We established that. Where exactly did you go? Do you remember arriving and what it was like?
Well, first of all, when we were liberated by an American, I remember the American officer was there with this Pearl Handle River automatic. And when I saw that, I hollered, yippee, and I think my mother heard me all the way in New York from Germany. And they held us in Leipzig, Germany. And that's where our place was that being held. And we used to go into town. and we had to do almost every. We go back the next day. We're doing the same thing we did the day before because we would be helped put back the buildings and the railroad tracks of trolleys back after the Americans had bombed them. The Americans used to bomb them at night, and I think it was, I forget now. There was English and Americans that did the bombing, and I forget who was at night and who was at day. Right. I don't remember it any longer.
All right. Let's see. What was your job assignment?
I beg your pardon?
What was your job assignment?
My job assignment when?
Sounded like you had several. So you did
when I was in
a
civilian, in the military?
Yeah.
Well, I was at first I was a gunner on a 40 millimeter in the anti-aircraft, and I was very good at it. I was spec number 601 on my discharge. Shows that I have a 601, and that means I knew my a gunner as a gunner, and there was a 40 millimeter, and I was the one elevator tractor, and then I could shoot off and follow a tow target, and I was so good at it that the captain gave me a 3-day pass, and then I went to see my brother. He was in Macon, Georgia. I was in Camp Stewart at that time, but then finally that was obsolete. All that stuff was obsolete because we trained also with parachute and at C-47 and gliders with the 40 millimeter. We trained that way also. But finally they said that's all obsolete. There's no more German planes. So when I went there were no German planes.
Right.
And so that's it. So I went back. Then when they learned that there was no German planes, they sent us to Camp Pickett, Virginia. I think it was Camp Pickett in Virginia, and we trained for infantry. Then we went to Fort Maryland, Meade. From there, we went on a ship, and on a ship we went into France and then into England, and then to England to France, and then France into Germany, where we had to do our fighting. And there was a lot of things that happened. I better not mention it. I was court-martial on a ship. I don't know if I should mention that, should I? And,
you got honorable discharge, right?
Yeah, I got honorable.
Go ahead.
But you know what? They only done it to pass the time because they couldn't show the officer that he was wrong. They punished me. My full pay for 6 months and their suspended sentence because he wanted me. What happened was that during the day, in the morning, I was through my chow and I threw my mess kit on my bunk. It's my bunk, but it was clean. And they were annoyed about that I put my mess kit on top of my bunk. And they wanted me down there, and so I finally went down there, and there was this big guy. He's standing there. Is this your bunk? I said, yeah. He says, the officer, Lieutenant R. Oliver, he's very upset about it. I said, why? That's my mess kit in my bunk. Why should he be upset? He said, you can't just leave your mess kit on your bed. Why not? It's mine. And I said, besides, I'm seasick, and that's why. I said, I had ran down here, dropped it off, I went upstairs, and I'm feeding the fishes. He says, well, don't you go to sick call? I said, there's a line that was going all around the ship. They couldn't do nothing for the seasick guys. So then he said, well, I'm going to put your garbage detail in the offices. But I said, you put your mother on it. I'm not going on it. You'll find it in the book. And he said, what? And he went raging. And they threw me in the brig. And they gave me a special court-martial on the ship. And they gave me a special court-martial, and I had this here major from the Air Force. I forget his name. What a wonderful man he was. He said to me, he's your officer, and you were sick, and he didn't care, more or less. I said, no. I said, he didn't seem to care at all. So I says, I'm going over there to fight a war. I says, the garbage detail should be for the men that are on this ship. I says, they're supposed to handle the garbage. Not I. I'm with the I'm an American soldier here. Why should I do it? He says, you're right. So they gave me a court-martial and they suspended sentence.
What did you do before you went into service?
I was an industrial sewing machine mechanic.
Oh, really?
And I handled all the sewing machines in this factory. And I was able to handle the pressing machines, take care of the steam that was in the air. They need air like for suction,
Right.
through the pressing machines, etc., etc. And I handled all that, the electrical work and all that. And then that's why I was deferred, because I was in a place where they made army material, army coats, etc., etc., a lot of other stuff. And so, in fact, I met my wife when I came back. I went to work in the same place.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you obviously you saw combat?
Oh, a lot of combat, yeah.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Oh, yeah, sure there were. We were they decided to do, instead of walking, they put us on this train. And man, that was a relief. It was a forced march. We were just dead tired carrying our wounded. And then the P-61 come by and strafed the shit out of us. I shouldn't have said that. And they killed a lot of the men on board this. I was full of blood, because of the splash from the gasoline. I thought I was hit. I thought I was wounded. And I'm looking all over myself. I see blood on me. And I go to help the guys on the ground. They're laying on flat on their back, and I'm picking them up. And the guys are hollering, "Mama." That's why I said to you, the mothers are the most important thing. They're the ones that gave birth to all our heroes. And they should be the ones that should be called. They should have a special day on that calendar. Not Mother's Day. Mother's Day can remain on it. But they should say, these are the mothers of all our heroes. Every veteran. And that is you know what the greatest fatality is?
What is
That the people are forgetting the veterans. Mm-hmm. I can understand they had that 9/11 thing, and they make the people understand that. But why don't they have something like that for the veterans? They teach a kid ancient history. Why don't they teach them the current history of our men who are fighting for our freedom? Half of them, most of everybody here is breathing the free air, and the freedom that they have to do anything they want. They even have the right to burn the American flag. We give everybody that right. And they don't appreciate the veterans? No, they don't. Not many, but a good percentage of people forgot about the veterans.
Okay.
And I think people should start to remember what we've done.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences. Were you a prisoner of war?
Yeah. Well, the most memorable experience is that, we were always starving, and they give you a little black coffee in the morning, and that's it. And that's all you had. And everybody was fighting for the coffee grounds. That's how hungry we were. And then we get into the town, and at lunchtime they would give you a bowl of soup. Who knows, it was made of rats, horse, or whatever. We didn't care. It was food. I remember this old woman, she was a Polish woman that had her working on the trains. They had to clean them up and what she had to do, that poor woman. And she dropped the soup. She went for more. The Germans kicked her down on the ground, and they stepped on her. And that's what the Germans were all about at that time. Mm-hmm. Maybe today they're not, but that time the Germans, I hated every one of them, even the elderly ones, because I remember being a prisoner. They put us in this big open place, like a big garage, vacant place, and we're in there. And then he stumbles over me, and then he starts kicking me. And I said, I thought you son of a bitches were you elderly people, didn't feel like you didn't believe the Nazism, but you're all like young and old. And that's one of the. And then we were in another place. They put us POWs in one big building. Man, I tell you, it was big. And I tell you, and had officers and everybody mixed with together, all of us. And on Christmas, we're all singing. This here one officer, he sang beautiful songs. And then we all started to actually cry. But in that building, I could swear, I heard the sounds in my imagination, what it was. children screaming, and I figured there must have been a place here where they must have put all the Jewish people, women and children and whatever they were, and they took them to the gas chamber. Because these Germans, they killed anything that they didn't like. And I remember going through the town when I had some Russian cigarettes. They gave us Russian cigarettes. And I forget how you even got the Russian cigarettes. And I would pass them, because I wasn't a great smoker, I would pass them to the Jewish prisoners. If I had ever been caught doing that, I don't know, they probably would have slammed me down or killed me. But I felt so sorry for them. And people in Germany, and Eisenhower did the right thing. When he went into this town, he said, and they had the ovens, etc., etc., and the people laying dead all over there, in piles. And he went to the people in that vicinity and he says, "Do you people know what's going on? The stench here is terrible." "Oh, no, they don't know what's going on." Well, I want every able person that can walk come there and dig graves. And that's what he done. And they took pictures so the Holocaust couldn't be something that people could forget easy or say it never happened.
Right.
Oh, that's a lot of my experience. People could be so darn mean to one another. And I believe in one thing. I have no animosity toward anyone. Black, white, green, Catholic, Jewish, like that. I know what suffering is, and I know the people that had to suffer, there was no reason for it, but some people didn't care what they did to other people. And I'm not one of those, and I never will be. I believe in that everybody deserves a decent life and to be respected. And that's my motto. Love thy neighbor.
Okay. Well, tell me about your experiences. Well, you talked about your captivity.
Yes.
How did you get free?
Well, as I said, this officer came there with this pearl handle gun, and we jumped up in the air, was happy, very free, and then they took us.
Was that General Patton with the pearl handle?
No, I don't know if it was. He was just an officer. He wasn't a general. I never saw a general.
Okay.
I never did. But that officer boy, he was so nice, and I went up to this German who took my bread. Because he says I had stolen it one time. And at that particular time, when he says I stole it, I had to cut the bread into each sleeve. And I went into a German store and bought it with marks. And the way I done it, I had to take off my coat, turn it inside out, drop it down, wrap it around my waist with the sleeves so I can cover the big red diamonds. They place a big red diamond back of your legs and on your back. So I walked in there, and I had this French hat that de Gaulle used to wear. And I walked in a bakery and I bought 4 kilos of bread. But 4 kilo bread. Yeah, that is good, and I put the one on each sleeve, and when I got to the prison camp there, and there was a big courtyard there, they started searching us, and I told one German I'd give him a Amerikaner cigarette. Yeah, and then he goes, "Halt, du American Schwein, du haben Sie Brut in der Mann gesehen." He told me that I had bread in my coat.
Right.
So he's pulling one way and I'm pulling. Finally, I says, "I don't care if you kill me, you son of a bitch. So here you only die once." And I punched him in the face. I hit him hard, man. He went down. And then all the others, Germans, they had guns and they all started hit me with the rifle button. Dropped some teeth out of my mouth. I was black and blue on my left side of my face. And so now when it came to the end, when I was liberated, I saw this guy and I says, "Come see here, du Schweinhund." I says, "The Amerikaner is here." He said, "Oh, yeah, you bist so krank." I said, "Du bist so krank." He says, "He's sick." I said, "Du bist so krank." Amerikaner says, "Yeah, du Schweinhund." And I got a hold of him and I took his pack. And I went through his pack, and I took out all his food and I ate it. And I took a little 25 revolver. Not revolver. It was a little automatic 25 caliber. So I said to him, "I'm going to she's in uncuffed, you Schweinhund." and he's crying. He's on his knees, and right now it's like this a little table like this, and then on this side was the commandant, and on this side was another guy, and he's on his knees, and I had taken his shoes off, which had a big horseshoe on it, and all metal there, but my shoes are shut. So my friend just said, "Don't kill him because you'll wind up in prison." I had tears in my eyes. I'm going to kill the bastard. And finally I lifted up my foot and I kicked right in his face, right here, and I sent the flesh all the way up, and then the blood just poured out. I says, "Now you shave, you son of a bitch, and remember me." That's it.
About your medals.
Yes.
What medals did you get?
Well, I received, I have three
Purple Heart.
3 Purple Hearts, 4 Bronze Stars, the French Cross de Guerre, the Battle of the Bulge, and a rifle shotman and stuff like that, you know.
How did you get them? What did you get them for?
Well, I got them for, the 109. It's on history. I'd have to read it for you. I would.
Yeah, just try to remember.
Well,
and if you can't, then it's not a problem.
no, I can't remember, but the 109 got the Cross de Guerre because of where we were and what we've done. And now we have that. Now, as you can see, there's many medals I got from the Packy, and what's the other guy's name?
You showed you Carrie?
Yeah, Carrie, and they have, you see in the medals, and I got many medals, and I'm very proud to have received these medals because I did my share for my country, and I do it again if need be.
You were an officer?
No, I was a PFC. That was it.
All right.
And then I went back to.
So tell me about how you got wounded.
Well, while we were prisoners of war, I was with my friend, my buddy Fidesco. First of all, we were in a barn, way back in a barn, and we had a good view on the outside, and we could see anything. And out in the front there would be mined and booby traps. So any German would come there, they would be blown to smithereens. That's what they told us, but that wasn't true. And one day I'm on guard there, and all of a sudden a tank, because I heard the tank, the rattle of the tank, and the flash of their light they have. And then it had armor-piercing shot from one of the cannons, and it came right into the dead center where I was guarding for the night. Bang, but never exploded. So it was what they were doing, they just want to get that shot in there so they can zero in to where they want to start, shooting off cannons at that particular direction. They have it already zeroed in. So I told the officer about that, and he says, I heard the tank, I seen the light, and then this shot that came right here, and the big hole was there, So he said, well, we have to go out and see if we can find this tank. Because they thought, most of the officers already were thinking of going on furlough because for Christmas is coming. Because they thought the war was over, but it wasn't nowhere near it. Well, anyway, we went looking for it. I went through certain areas there in Germany that were beautiful. I thought the roads that were very similar to the roads that were at home in Long Island, the Southern State and the Northern State and the Southern State. And then I started thinking of my car that I had a 1933 Pontiac, beautiful little car. I said, boy, I love to be coming through here. All of a sudden, I was in dreamland. And then I finally hear the officers, come on, we're going back. I was carrying a bazooka, and the other guys were carrying rifles. But if the Germans had spotted me, or if they wanted to, I would have been the first one they would have got because I had the bazooka. Mm-hmm. But they didn't show it. They were well hidden. And in a couple of days, then they attacked us a few days later. And that's when the whole hell broke loose. And all the Germans are walking all over that area where they said was bomb. There were mines and booby traps. There were none. And then finally, me and Fidesco, I'm shooting there. I'm having a good shot. I'm banging away there like no problem at all. You're just shooting them down. And all of a sudden, he says, my rifle is jammed. I said, holy shit, let's go. So he says, let's go downstairs and we'll go to the CP. You know? And
What is a CP?
command post.
Gotcha.
And so as we're going down, all of a sudden a shell comes in and blasts right there, you know, and the pigs and everybody are howling, you know, out there. The poor animals, they're getting all the bombardment also on the outside there. And all of a sudden, there's a steel stairway to get the seat. We had because we were upstairs, and then you had to go down the steel stairway. And going down that steel stairway, when that shot went off, I went to duck, and I pulled down the stairway, and man, I was really, I was shot. There were little holes all around, but that must have been the shrapnel. And I got hit with it, and I was bleeding all over. My friend Fidesco's holding me up, you know. Now we're ready to go back up again. And we said, what the hell are we going to do? The two of you right with the jam. I said, what are you going to do, hide in there? Because the Germans are right there. Mm-hmm. And there's a 50 caliber that the guys from the heavy weapons were there. They took off and went to the CP, and they left us alone. There's a guy with his rifle jammed. I said, holy crap, what are we going to do? Yeah, hiding the hay now. So you know what we done? You read it in my book. Me and Fidesco, we said, well, we'll take the son of a bitches with us. So we pulled the pin out of our hand grenades, and we held it. All of a sudden we hear our sergeant call us, come on down and remove all your gear, your helmet, etc. So all your armament, get rid of it. I said, no, what the hell are we going to do? Well, the job we had to try putting the pins back again, because we would let them go. They would open up on us, and we would have been like Swiss cheese. So we finally get out, and the German goes, los. And they put us all together, and they got on the embankment of the other farm, and there was no more than that table over there. And just a little further back, they got a little machine gun, and they put us up against this wall here, and they went through our pockets and all. If they found a souvenir, and that was German, they would have just shot us right in the head. And all of a sudden, we see them backing up. They were ready to start using the machine gun to knock us off, like they did at what's the name of that place there? That's what they did to many other prisoners before that, Maccabee or something like that. I forget now. I haven't got that young head that I had earlier. I'm 89 years old, and I'm just barely remembering a lot. Unless you ask me the question, then I might remember it. Well, anyway, another American outfit started shooting down at them. They were on a oh my God, I'm forgetting what I have to say. And they started shooting down. They were the right flank. That's what I think of. And they started firing at the Germans, and we all went down, put our hands on our head, and slumped down, so they would recognize us from. They knew that we were prisoners of war because we had our hands on our head, so they wouldn't shoot us. That's what we all done. And then they took us with them, and it was forced march. Had nothing to eat for weeks at a time. It was a rough time. The Germans didn't care about nobody at that time. Oh, there was one guy that they had sent us out to pick up wood. We thought it was for us because we were cold. And this young kid is a tall kid, a black kid, and the Germans they were beating the hell out of him. This guy, he was scared stiff. I said, the German, I told him, I says, das man ist nicht wounded. He's been wounded. He's American soldat, I told him. And I pulled that guy over to me and I says, we're wounded. Verstehst du? Yeah, and they walked away, the Germans. They were just beating that guy up for just the love of it. So I took him, I says, well, he's in with the artillery. I says, and they got all the way back to the artillery, you guys? He says, yeah. So I put him on my side, I said, stay with me. Because I said, this man got wounded. And they shot back, I said, you can't work, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to do something good for people, and maybe that's why God was good to me. Because
You got hit 3 different times?
well, you see, when I was, before I was captured, I was in a foxhole. And I got hit by a fox, all of a sudden we get a big shell came in, and it must have been close to me because I went flying in the air. And then I came down, and I had no more voice left. I couldn't holler, medics, medics, medics. And I had a big slash here. I don't know what that was. I was bleeding here on my neck.
Yep.
So the medics came over, they picked me up. They took me into this hospital with all tents. And they put me there, and then they says, you have a concussion also. He says, so we got to keep you here a while. I said, man, that's great, you know. So I was hoping I had that $1 million wound so I could go home, but no. So anyway, they thought they took care of this right away. And that was the first one I got. So they had me there, and they taken good care of me, and they made me an MP for a while. I'm working on the roads there, directing traffic, and where many of the officers were crossing. It was more or less in a rear echelon.
Right. Keep going.
And
Don't pay any attention to this.
so as it went on, that thing threw me off. So we were at I forget what we were talking about. Oh my God.
You were an MP.
Yeah, I'm an MP. That's right, directing traffic. And then finally after a month or so, they sent me back to my division. Right. And the captain says to me, well, who are you? I said, I told him who I am. He said, we have you down for AWOL. And I'm in the hospital. So that's one time I got wounded, and they didn't even record it.
Right.
That's number 2. And then the time going down the stairs, that would be number 3. Right? But now, I didn't get hit in the arm yet. That all happened already. So finally, they have us as prisoners, and we're going down, and the Americans are shooting at them, using cannons and whatnot, because the Germans used to use an 88. They could put one in your hip pocket. But the Americans are pretty good too, and they were sending. We're getting tree bursts. We're getting bursts from the ground. The tree burst is the worst because it hits the tree, then the bursts come down. Right. When it hits the ground, they go up. Okay. So now all of a sudden, one is coming in. So the Germans make us stay at attention. So me and Fidesz, all of a sudden, we hear this one's coming in close. So I went down, and my coat was all full of holes, and I had one right in here, and it felt like somebody hit me with a baseball bat. Because it went right into the boat, and it was in there until I got home to the States, and then they took it out. And that was, so actually it was 4 times I was wounded. But I mean, I had to show what happened, where all these things happened, so I put down for 3. I remember when this officer came to me, he called my name, Cangelosi. I says, yes, I'm laying in bed. He says, I have your Purple Heart here with your name inscribed in the back. I says, where's the other 3? He says, you have more coming? I says, yeah. I said, but forget about it. I was in the hospital. I wasn't going to start arguing about it then. But you can see how I was wounded so many times and they didn't even have it down.
Right.
And when you're a prisoner of war, who's going to know about it unless you tell them, right?
Yeah.
And only because they took the slug out of me when I got back to the States, they had record of it. And that's the only one they counted. What about the others that time?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So I made them understand, and I told them at least 3. I'm not going to fight for the 4th one. It ain't that much. But that was it.
What did you get the Bronze Stars for?
I don't know. Maybe when I went up to this German and I beat the shit out of him, in the POW camp, when I told you want to kill me, go ahead. I'd rather die anyway than be hit. And I hit that guy with my fist, Maybe that was the time somebody saw it, And maybe another time I'd done something stupid, The people say, well, you're afraid. I said, damn shoot, I was afraid. And those guys that never tell you they weren't afraid. That's because they had a breeze of free wind going out with some of that brown stuff that they had on their drawers. I said, you know, I said, everybody was scared.
Right.
I said, but the only thing it would make you more aware, if I put you in and say, well, this is a haunted room, haunted house, and I'll put you in the worst room where there's nothing but ghosts in there. Well, you'd go in there and you'd be looking around all the time. You'd make you more aware. You could be frightened, but you'd be aware of what's going on. Mm-hmm. In other words, you'll be looking at everything, and you'll be your imagination won't go running away with you, but you would see the things that are going to be harmful, and you're going to fight it.
Right.
That's what it's all about. Being afraid only makes you more aware, and that's what I have to say about it.
Okay. When how did you stay in touch with your family? Were you able to
Well,
do that at all?
yeah, no, they sent a telegram to my family when I was missing in Akron. Mm-hmm. Then they finally sent them a telegram that I'm back in with the unit. Well, you know, you can see them, you can look at them, and I can give you copies of it if you want, you know. Okay. But it was a terrible thing. And then when I finally got home, I got to Fort Dix. My mother and father came there with my godfather. And they came to Fort Dix. I was about 97 pounds, you know, so skinny. I was smoking like a chain smoker, and I was like, my hands were shaking, you know. And then by the time I got home, I had this post-traumatic stress, you know. Mm-hmm. And I still have it, but not as bad as that because I get medication. But there's the one that took care of me right there, my baby. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. And that's it.
Obviously, during your captivity, you hardly got to eat.
Oh yeah, there was no food. Yeah, maybe they give you maybe a slice of bologna a day. Mm-hmm. At nighttime, they would give you this: a slice of bologna and a slice of bread. That was at nighttime. Right. Now we got the bowl of soup while we were working on in the detail. That's where we got the soup. Okay. In the morning we had bread. For breakfast we had just a cup of coffee, and the guys are fighting for the coffee grind. So we ate very little. I was down to 79 pounds when they liberated me. Mm-hmm. And
I'm sure the same thing. You didn't have any supplies at all.
No, well, you know what happened was that, you see, I have a bad colon, and they had to take 18 inches off. Mm-hmm. And the reason why was, you know, we used to go into town and we used to find food, a turnip, carrots. So we'd take it back with us. In fact, they would search us to find out maybe we found something that was very valuable. Right. So we'd take it, and just when you go to sleep, we're all full of bed bugs. I used to kill them on my face with all my blood on it, you know. And I would take them, and I would eat them, and I'd have a full stomach. I felt like I ate something before I went to sleep. But the next morning I get up, and we have to walk, I think 15 miles, was it to Leipzig? Yes. And I could feel my stomach, this thing going in there, my stomach like this. Uh-huh. You know, my stomach, my colon, with the raw stuff, and it laying there like lead. Yeah. And that thing, I could feel it, every step I took, I feel it doing this. Right. So that's when after a while I got home. I'm having stomach trouble all the time. Right. And finally they had to take 18 inches of my colon out. Oh. Okay. And I did suffer a lot with my throat, still suffering from it, because they beat the hell out of me with their rifle butts. Now my windpipe stays open all the time. I have to chew on one side and swallow on the other. So I don't have a picnic. Mm-hmm. When I eat, I'm choking. Many times I'm choking. Right. So my wife puts up with it. She helps me as much as can. But what can anybody do for me? I got to watch what I eat. And many times I'm choking. I'm at the table and I'm choking. And I'm so embarrassed when I'm at a restaurant. One time I spit up all over the damn table, you know. Uh-huh. So, and I'm talking more with my hands than I am saying anything, you know. But, you know, I guess a nervous does that.
Let me see. I'm looking for
So, anyway, life hasn't been easy, but my wife made it easy. We're married 65 years. Right. And she's been my wonderful. She took good care of me. And that's what all a man needs is love, because you define the word love, it only means to be loved in return. That's what love is, and that's what we had. I have 12 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. And we had 4 boys, my wife and I. Now, we were very happily married. We had 4 boys, but we never got our girl. I wanted a girl so bad. But I have plenty of girls as grandchildren, but they're so far away I never see them. We have 12 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren, and my wife don't know.
Tell me, well, you already did. You spoke about the PTSD, about the pressure and the stress. Was there anything that you did for good luck, or did you pray, or?
Oh, I prayed to God many a times. And praying to Him was very, very the best to do. I said, God, help me. And I'll remember one thing. I'll never hate anybody, and I'll always be good to people when I see them. I'll pass it on to them, what you do for me. And I said, all I do is I want to die in my mother's arms. I don't want to die here. And that's what God, I think, heard me, and He made me, because I get along with everybody. I have friends with everybody. I don't care who they are, what they are. I make friends with everybody.
Did you ever see any entertainers while you were in the service?
Yeah, there was once I saw it, but there wasn't anybody that was
no big deal.
No, well, yeah, it was okay. No, I wouldn't say it was. It was a good. It was good, but it wasn't anything like Bob Hope or anything like that. It wasn't anything special like that.
Okay. All right. Did you get to go on leave while you were in the service, military ever? Did you go on leave?
Yeah, I tell you, I got the 3-day pass, and I went to see my brother over in Georgia. He was in Macon, Georgia, and I was at Camp Stewart.
Right.
I seen him, and then actually I got one furlough. When I went to furlough, I get sick, and they told my mother, "You have no right taking care of him. We take care of him," and they shipped me to the hospital. I mean, that was mean what they told my mother. I'll never forget that. Some of these officers, they had no brains at all. They get a order as an officer, and it goes to the head. They think they're God Almighty. Some of them, like this one officer Lieutenant R. Oliver, I figured I put him in my sights, and then I says, nah. I said, but then I used to follow him. And he'd go into the cafe, and I would be right there. And I had him scared stiff. He would see me. Finally, one night, it must have been it was dark as can be, But all of a sudden, another outfit's coming in where we were. They're relieving us, and they're taking over where we were at.
Right.
And who's there? I get a big hug. Guy comes over me. He says, I looked up, and there it is, Lieutenant Oliver. He said, "Oh, Kenji, I'm sorry what I done." He says, "I was nothing but a dumb shave tail." That's what he said. And then I said, "Okay, Lieutenant," I said, "maybe we'll see each other after the war, and we'll have a couple of mademoiselles, and we'll drink some wine, we'll do something,
right.
We'll have some fun." He said, "That's a good idea, Kenji." So, but he was killed. I felt badly about it. The funny thing, war is hell. Even your enemies, you figure your enemies are your friends. Yeah. And that's a lot of things happen,
Did you mention all the places that you traveled? You said Belgium, Germany, England. You stopped in England?
Oh, yeah, I stopped in England for about a day and a half, and I remember this. We sent a guy went out for fish and chips, and he was wrapped up in newspaper. I remember that. I couldn't believe it. That's all I had was newspaper.
Right.
Now I go to this place, an English pub. They have, but it's a newspaper also, but it's beautiful. It's waxed, and they carry the same tradition. But that was something. And then there was this old man. He was standing there when we were getting aboard these trucks, going onto the ships to take us over to France. This old man with a big beard. I had this big chocolate bar, and I knew. I said, "How about some chocolate there, Pops?" He grabbed it. I said, "Oh, that." I said, "Oh, chewy old man." I'll go down. It's my first way to learn that. I said, from Gary Grant, I said, in the movies. I mean, stuff like that to laugh. I mean, it's.
So were those the 3 countries that you visited? England, Belgium, and...
Oh, France. I was in France, yeah. France, England, then Germany, Belgium. And I tell you, we had a beautiful... One time we were at this place, I forget the name. I think it's Schneider, where it was. We were there and we had a good time. All the people there, the mother, the father, the young girls. We had a nice time. It was nothing, no sex involved, nothing like that. But we just had a good time, drank, and we ate. And then we found out after I left there, and after when the Germans came in, bombing and all that, whatever they were doing, that whole town was flattened.
Jeez.
And the people I knew, they were probably all dead, you know.
Right.
And then that's that hurt too. You know, that your buddy's dying. And to think that all these people that you knew, young ladies, are so beautiful, they're dead, you know, and the many children, you know, you see all that, and you're sick, you get sick up there, you know, you don't know what you want to do, cry or just get mad or go, who am I going to go after now, you know, I can't fight no more, the war is over, but you feel like you want to fight again, you know. But that's how you get, you know, it's unbelievable how you feel inside. Your mind. They give me pills there, Citalbon, whatever it is, I don't know. It's supposed to calm you down. Then they also give you a sleeping pill. But when I take them on things, I think that it slows up my mind. I think I don't think as fast, and I think that I forget very easily. And I think the medications do that also. So sometimes I say, I'm not going to take it. Like last night, I wanted to take one in the worst way. I couldn't go to sleep.
Right.
But I wouldn't take it because I'm afraid that it affects my mind, my memory. My memory has gone astray, you know.
Okay. Did you keep a personal diary?
No, I just wrote the book, as I told you.
Gotcha. All right. And the name of the book is...
My Story.
Okay, by Anthony Candel. That's your pen name?
No, I changed my name to that. That's my name now. But you see, the book shows you that it was Cangelosi, too.
Gotcha.
But the guy who edited the book, I had Antonio. He put Anthony, so I leave it there. But it's really Antonio.
Okay. I know you got a ton of memorabilia around here, photos and...
Oh yeah, anything you want to take it. Well, should I hold that sleeve up?
Yeah, you want to get it?
Yeah, want me to get it?
Yeah, let's try that and see what we...
These are all my medals.
Okay.
You see them?
Good. Yeah, pretty much. Just tilt a little bit more. Hold on, and there we go. Got it.
You got it?
Yep, got it.
Okay. Then I have... Oh, I can't get it out of there.
That's okay. That is that's where you got hit, right?
Yeah. That's where I got hit.
Right.
There's a blood stain in the hole in the sleeve.
Uh-huh.
If they can see that.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a Purple Heart, and there's a shrapnel that was in it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
And here's a 109. It explains.
Go ahead.
The division was deactivated December 13, 1945. 5 campaign, Normandy, Northern France, Ardennes, Alsace, Rhineland, and Central Europe were earned during World War II, in addition to the Cross de Guerre.
Uh-huh.
That's where you get the Cross de Guerre. Okay. Here's a telegram my parents received.
All right, hold on.
Right here.
Yep.
And this was they tell, and when they, oh not that, and then this, you got it?
Yep.
And this is the, Where they told my parents that I'm back in unit again, wherever. Okay?
Got it.
Okay. And this, oh, I don't know, this, I don't know what other things I can put here. Over here shows you the list. In my division, 28 division, combat deaths were 2,683.
Uh-huh.
Wounded in action, 9,609. And actually what happened was, let's see, tells you complete, well anyway. Well, anyway.
All right. Well, we're almost done.
Yeah, here's the book with everything in it. I was in the Civil Air Patrol,
Right.
and there's the V-mails that used to be sent during the World War II. There it is, right here. That's the V-mails. See the V-mail?
Uh-huh.
And that's what we would get from my brother. He was in the service. He sent mail, write me a letter. He would have to do it in that, and vice versa. And my parents would do the same thing. Yeah, many things. Yeah. Yeah, I was out when I went back to trace my step. Oh. There's a pillbox that I fought against. That's probably one of them. I don't remember that exact one, but that's it. That's a pillbox.
Hold on. Oh, almost got it.
Yeah.
Almost got it. Almost. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Hold it. Good. Go ahead.
Okay. And the way we used to go into these things would be that they have a pillbox maybe about 100 or 200 yards apart, or maybe 100 yards, I don't remember now. But they would have a crossfire. From that pillbox and this box, there would be a crossfire. So it'd be pretty hard to get to it. So what we had to do is, there would be a military crest, because they're always down, and we're on a military crest.
Right.
And if you go straight down, but they cut you down to pieces. So all our men up above, on the top of a military crest, they'd be firing all into the abrasions, all openings. They would keep shooting, while two of us went down over to the pillbox with a long pole with a satchel on the end, dynamite. And you put it up against the door, the front door there, was made of steel, and we pull the ripcord and the damn thing, and we run behind it. And then they would blow that door, and then we'd go, while that just smoking, we'd go in there, we'd throw our grenades in there.
Right.
Then we'd go in there and high port. Okay? And they're shooting, and even our own bullets are ricocheting past us. Many guys got hit by their own bullets, you know.
Right.
And then one time we're getting ready to walk out, and I hear a little moaning. So I went over and I saw this German. He wanted to give me his ring if I shoot him. I wouldn't take it. And he wanted to give me his wrist. Well, I wanted, no, I don't want nothing. And I'm glad I didn't take it, because I would have been caught with that. I would have been killed. But anyway, so I said, no. So I looked at him. He had a wound in his stomach. He had some of his intestines were falling out of the side of his stomach. I picked him up with my hand, put him in his stomach again, took my first aid kit, opened it, took the supplemental, poured it on it, put my bandage on it, took both his hands on top of it, and I says, medic, come. I think he understand that. So he wanted to give me the ring anyway. I says, no. So I told medic, come. So, so what was I going to do? But my hands, I got outside, and I took the sand, and I washed my hands in the sand. Where else would I get the water, you know?
Right.
The canteen, I took some, but you don't want to waste it, you know? Well, anyway, that's part of it, Working with hand, can you imagine going there with a satchel of dynamite and a bullet hits you?
No.
And we're down there, we're going to Highport. You had your rifle on your shoulder when you're carrying the dynamite. Mm-hmm. And the other guy's at Highport, and he's firing into the opening of Reagan's too. And everybody's zeroing in on it. So they stay behind, they don't come out. So that's where you get your chance to blow the door down.
Right.
So, everything is calculated, but it don't work that way sometimes, Mm-hmm. The Germans weren't stupid, They had a bunch of men that didn't care neither. But I remember one time we were moving out so fast into German territory that they were behind us. And they were shooting us in the back of the head. So what happened was that one day, that same day, so we regrouped and we went, and then finally, I get over to this one and I see this canvas. So I looked underneath, I looked up, and there's this kid, like this, comrade. I says, Carlos, out, goes. And all of a sudden, I was also a BAA. You know what a BAA is? BAR. It's a rifle, like a machine gun. They call it BAR.
Okay.
Brownie automatic rifle. That's what it is. And this time I'm carrying the ammo, and he's got the gun. I got the ammo for it. I also my rifle. And as I'm telling this kid get out, he pushes me out of the way and opens fire with BAR, killed this young kid. And I felt sorry for him. But behind him was a guy ready to kill me and the kid. Mm-hmm. And he didn't care himself who he killed, the German. Mm-hmm. That's how they were trained,
Right.
So he saved my life, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But the young kid had to die, and that bothered me, Guy around me was 14, 15 years old, for Christ's sake, I remember seeing on TV, they took these kids out of a school, a bunch of kids, and they were slaughtered by the Americans, It's terrible. Yeah. What am I going to do? Yeah, but I had a Jewish partner, and I said, you know what, you Jewish guys, I see in pictures and movies, and they would put all you Germans, all you Jewish people, a whole mob of you, and they would pick out certain guys and they would shoot them. I said, you know what's the matter with you Jews? You're scared shit. That's where you should have took and killed as many yourselves, even if you died doing it. I said, you should have done it. He says, I don't know. I said, you don't know. I said, you mean you'd rather die or something? Did you see on TV the other day when they were showing you 9/11? People, they were burning up, so they jumped out the window. They didn't want to burn.
Yeah.
But that's the most horrifying thing to do, What are you going to do? And that's what they did. And I says, when you think of it, that's what these guys should have done. You should have fought these Germans, killed as many as they can, and that's it.
Right.
Okay,
do you recall the day your service ended?
Yes, I was in Holland General Hospital, and they gave me my discharge there. And first of all, they had a big parade in New York, and they went down Avenue of America, and then we had and then all the restaurants around there were taking all us guys and putting us in a restaurant. We'd eating for free, for nothing. There's that. I wish I could remember the restaurant many times. You'll read it, I think, in there. And it was a lot of things, and there was something that came to my mind that I wish I would have told you, but when you mentioned, so many things happen. It's unbelievable that I went through all this. Sometimes I start to think about it. I was reading my book and I'm highlighting all the different things that have my book in there. I started to highlight it. And I can't believe that what I went through, oh man, it's unbelievable.
What did you do in the days and weeks afterwards?
Where?
When you got out of the service?
Oh, I met up with her and went to Coney Island and things like that, And I wore my uniform, and I tell you the truth, I don't all I was looking for was happiness, you know. I love
Did you ever use your GI Bill?
Pardon?
Did you ever use your GI
Yes,
Bill?
I did.
You did?
You saw down there. It's right on the discharge papers. I needed it to go into, forget to buy a house, I think.
Okay. Did you go to school with it?
No, but I didn't go to school. But you know, I was the kind of a guy that I got myself a tape machine. You know, a tape, a recording tape.
Okay.
And I used that. And I remember I was an actor. I did an off Broadway. I did many other shows, you know. And I was able to memorize the whole book. I learned to memorize. I was many times when I went for my pilot's license. I also memorized the whole thing. And he said to me, Anthony, if you hit some high score, he said, put all your records together when you go to college. I said, I didn't even finish elementary school. He said, you got to be kidding me. He said, how'd you hit such a high score? I said, I memorized the whole book. He says, you memorized it. He didn't believe me. I said, well, give me anything, and I showed that I know the answer. He gave me questions, I knew the answers. He said, I'll be doggone, he couldn't believe it. He says, Anthony, go back to school. You're a brilliant man. I says, no, but then you see, as I said, you know, I was able to memorize, and so I was able to do a lot of things, you know. I wrote my book, I painted, people didn't know where I got. I was able to get my license as a pilot, and I never finished high school.
Right.
You know, I was just one of those guys, because I used it, you know. Right. But in the very beginning, I had a very bad life. You'll read it, you'll find out. And that's why I struck so hard to know so much.
You were starting to tell me you were looking for happiness when you got out?
Oh, yeah, that's all I wanted. I wanted happiness, and I wanted to see my mother, father, my sisters. And the funny thing is, I'm coming home. I'm just getting off the bus. And I think I'm going home. Where I used to live. My mother already sold that house, and she's not there no more.
Right.
So I get off the bus, and I'm going home. And all of a sudden, I see my car, my 1933, I think it was 1933 or 34, Pontiac, the green one. I said, what the hell is it doing? And my sister, Ann, the girl up there, she jumps out of the car. The cars are still going. And she comes to meet me. And there was a picture at the top there, saying, with the foot. And she jumps out, and we hugged and kissed in the street. I said, what are you doing with my car? She said, well, I'll talk to you about it later. My mother thought I was dead, you know, and she sold the car to them.
Right.
So I didn't want to take it back no more, you know. But there was a lot of things that I was so disappointed when they come back. My mother moved to a house which I didn't like. It was a terrible area and a terrible house. And it wasn't the same house I left, you know, so naturally it was unhappiness. So I sought happiness all the time, and then I went back to work where I was working, and I met my wife. I fixed a machine, and naturally it ran better after, you know, she's sleeping. She's got dementia. And I have to take care of her, you know, and take care of myself now, and I'm saying she lost her memory, and I'm starting to lose it. One day I'm going to say, who are you? She's going to say, who are you?
Okay. Do you belong to any veterans organizations now?
Well, I belong to, but you know, I can't get busy. I can't go into meetings often as I can, like they want me to, because I got to take care of her. Right. I don't want to leave her home alone, so that's the reason. But I like to, you know, what I done one time. The time the Vietnamese War was just over. Well, they still held. They sent some guys home. You know, the prisoners of war. They sent some from home. And I know there was many there that were still there by the Russians holding on to them, and how do you call it, Vietnamese. So my brother Joe used to work for Adelaide Stevenson, and the nation, United Nation. Right. So he says, "Me, Tony, do me a favor, don't come here and cause trouble." He said, "I work here." I says, "I'm not gonna cause you no trouble. I just gotta fight. See that guy. What's his name there? The term, Bill? What's the name of the guy that's at the United Nations? You know, the one I saw. I yelled at him. You guys are pussyfooting. You're not helping the veterans. They're still out there as prisoners. Russians holding them, Vietnamese is holding them, and you guys he was the ambassador, Eric. What was his name, Eric again.
Holden?
Huh?
Holden?
No, Young. What was it? I forget.
Ambassador Young?
Ambassador Young, that was him. He was there, and I told him that if I'm also a former MIA, the way you guys are really pussyfooting doing nothing for those guys still being held prisoners, I'd slit my throat. I wouldn't want to come back to the country with guys like you. Oh, I gave it to them good. And then the reporters all picked that up, and then I started thinking they'd done it a lot better. But I went there to fight for the Vietnamese guys, my buddies. I was always very concerned about veterans. I feel that the greatest fatality is that the people here are breathing the fresh, pure air and the freedom, and they don't recognize, and they are forgetting the veterans. I think I mentioned that earlier too, and that's what bothers me the most. And you see, I have a picture now. You know, IHOP's got my picture hanging up. John Bull, they got my picture up.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I show you them. They're in there. I got a whole bunch of them. My kids are going to get one.
Okay.
Did you see those in that bed? I'll show it here.
Okay. Did you make any close friends while you were in the service?
Oh,
Did you Did you maintain them?
Oh, I did, but they're all dead now, and nobody's living them all.
So what did you do? What did you go on to do as a career after the war?
Well, I went back to my own job that I had before I left the service, and that's where I met my wife, and I made a complete new. And I knew that my education wasn't that great, so I went back into high school and I took up mathematics. Then I bought that tape recorder. Then I put it on even at nighttime while I'm sleeping. They say you learn while you're sleeping, and I learned so much. And then I went to work for this. I went to work for this place in Long Island on bathing suits, and they had these Union Special machines, and I learned to fix them up well. So then I said, I gotta go to this company and get a job there. Maybe I become a salesman. So I went there, and the guy made me a mechanic because I knew my equipment and everything. Right. And then I found out what were they really selling. So what I done is with the tape, I recorded everything, and I memorized every machine and the component parts for each machine. I memorized that. So when I spoke to the manager there, Rosenquist, he said, "I can't believe you know so much." He says, "Maybe in a couple of years we'll make you a salesman." It wasn't long. They gave me the whole Long Island territory.
Oh, okay.
See, because I used the thing up there. I just didn't keep it up there. But, you know, I don't sound like much today because I'm forgetting a lot. But I had a good mind. I was able to memorize things.
I believe you.
Yeah, see, I right here. Let me show you something.
You can sort of see by the way that you have all this stuff organized.
Yeah. Oh, here's my wife, what she looked like. Oh, here. Oh, she is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, this is Ambassador Baruti of Saudi Arabia. You see it?
I'm getting there. Hold it up a little bit.
This is my brother Joe. He worked for Adlai Stevenson. This is Ambassador Baruti of Saudi Arabia. This is my wife and I here.
Right.
Now, we used to go there, and they used to have dances at the United Nations with all these foreigners that come over. And we would dance with them to show them what the Americans were all about, you know?
Right.
And that's what we used to do. My wife, she'd be dancing with some foreigner, and I'd be dancing with another woman that was a foreigner to show us what we Americans are like, you know?
Right.
And that's what we used to do, you see. I mean, we had a wonderful... and here was a cross de guerre, the French cross de guerre right here. Oh, well, anyway.
Okay, well, let's see if we can wind down here.
Okay.
Okay, So how long was that career after the service? It was how many years?
What's that?
The one that you had,
I retired after from there.
how many years?
Oh, I don't remember. Just maybe about, I was about 65 years old. Mel, you know when I retired, can you remember, hon?
No.
How many years I went for Union Special? I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't, you know, I just don't remember no more.
Here's the last question. Oh, you do go to a few reunions, right?
Yeah, when they sent me a letter, and that's why I was there.
Right.
But if they don't send me a letter, I can't make any. And they want for donations. I don't want the donations because I need it for hospitalization and things.
Gotcha.
We're not in the best shape.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how did the service and those experiences affect your life? That's it.
Well,
and is there anything that we left out?
well, there was nothing but hunger. There was people that I recognized, people that didn't really care. Some of the officers that were made officers, like in the spirit of the moment, they don't know who the hell they were. See, even when I was court martialed, I never lost my rank PFC because they just had to show that to the officer that he was I was put over the fire and they roasted me up a little bit and that was it. And of course they couldn't make him look bad being an officer. And I knew that because I didn't even lose my rank and they never took a dime after they said they were going to take my salary for 6 months, full salary. They never done that. So I knew that, but some of these officers thought who the heck they were, some of these non-coms. But I never took no garbage from nobody. I don't care who they were. That's one thing. One time I was told by the sergeant, these pillboxes are down there and we're on a military crest. He's all right, Kangi. He says, get up. I says, F you, I says. I'm not getting up. I says, you know the bullets are whizzing through our ear. You can see them passing around. You can hear them passing by like you got a piece of paper and you get a pencil and you go through that paper. That's what the bullets sound like when they're going past your ear. Yeah. I said, you stand up first. He says, Krog. And then I'll stand up. So he said, I'm not standing. Then don't tell me to stand. And I said, I says, you tell me to stand up the next time I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to put one right in you. I said, so you better bear in mind that if you're going to have me commit suicide, I'm going to kill you first. Mm-hmm. So we reported that to the general, the officer, when we got back. I said, look, if he were to stand up, I said, I'll follow him. But if he's not going to stand up, I'm not going nowhere. I said, you wouldn't have stand up there if I'd have told you to stand, would you? I forget what he was, lieutenant or what. I said, I don't commit suicide. I'll fight. I said, but I ain't going to commit suicide. He wanted me to stand up. And when I asked him, I'll follow you, he wouldn't stand up. I said, now what kind of a shit is that? He looked at me and he says, let it go. You know, I was right.
I hear you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Some of these guys thought because they become a sergeant, that gets them, it makes them Jesus Christ. The only Jesus Christ is there, and I'll show it to you who he is. I'll show you inside.
Okay, Antonio, I want to thank you very much.
I want to thank you too, Carlton. You're a
much.
great guy.
It's a great, absolutely fantastic interview. Seriously.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.